We're going to talk about the new commissioner of Social Security. President-elect Trump just chose his next commissioner for the Social Security Administration, so we're going to talk about that. And this is also, as usual, this is going to be a live Q&A. So I'm going to talk about the new commissioner. It shouldn't take that long, probably about 5 or 10 minutes, because we don't know that much about them, about the individual. And then I'm going to open it up to all things Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, Medicare, Medicaid. If you have any questions, make sure you type them in the chat. And if you're watching this or recording later, make sure you subscribe, and that way you can find us in the future. Let me put who I am here so you know. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country, and now in my semi-retirement, I'm making sure y'all do the right thing. Make sure the Social Security does the right thing by you, and Medicare and Medicaid and all the rest of it, and also to make sure it's here for you in the future for you and your children. Okay, so we've got a new commissioner. He, um, let's Frank Bisignano, and this is the tweet or truther or whatever the President-elect Donald Trump's platform is called, Truth or Retruth or whatever. So is pleased to announce Frank Bisignano to serve as the Commissioner of Social Security. Frank is a business leader with a tremendous track record of transforming large corporations. He will be responsible to deliver on the agency's commitment to the American people for generations to come. So let's definitely hope Social Security is here for generations to come. It's been around since 1935, so hopefully it continues. Frank currently serves as the chairman, president, and chief executive officer of a Fiserv Corporation, the world's largest payments and financial technology company that touches almost every American household each day. He has a long career leading financial services institutions through great transformation. Frank previously served as co-chief operating officer of JP Morgan Chase. Prior to JP Morgan Chase and Company, he held senior positions at Citigroup, including chief administrative officer during 9/11, where he had responsibility for 16,000 employees in Lower Manhattan. Okay, so I have gone through several commissioners in my time when I ran the third business Social Security office in the country, and they all came in. They all said they're going to do great stuff, and they're going to do this, and they're going to change that. And sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. Um, it's Social Security is a big, giant oil tanker, so it doesn't change on a dime. Um, but so this is the first time in a long time we've got someone outside. Usually, Social Security commissioners are, for other, they worked at Social Security itself, or they worked at Human Health and Human Services, or the last one was, was the governor of Maryland. So we had kind of politicians. This is the first time we've got a kind of a business leader. So this might be good. It might be bad. I'm going to reserve judgment, but here's so it depends on what kind of Donner, kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type situation we got going here with this gentleman. Um, it sounds as though he is pretty good at taking organizations and making them more efficient and more responsive and all the rest of it. So hopefully that's the part of himself that he brings out, or that President-elect Trump asks him to do. The other side is the Wall Street type of personality. And here is kind of the long-term strategy. If you've been watching Social Security as closely as I have historically and from inside the bureaucratic beast, there's kind of a long-term strategy. And I put this long-term strategy, this was developed several decades ago by those that want to privatize Social Security. So I put that in the description down below if you want to read it yourself. But it's basically a long-term strategy to privatize Social Security, to give it over to Wall Street, and go against what the Social Security Administration was, a safe social safety net that's been there since FDR in 1935, and completely transform it into something completely different. So here's kind of the strategy. there are problems since 1935. There's always been problems with Social Security. The politicians have stepped up and addressed those problems, fixed those. They did that the last time they did it in a major way was under Reagan in 1983, the Greenspan Commission, and that's when they, unfortunately, they started taxing, Social Security benefits and all the rest of it. And the reason is because we got a whole bunch of baby boomers. They said, hey, we're going to have a whole bunch of baby boomers in the future, and we're going to have to, provide those people with their Social Security checks that we promised them. So they did their thing, but that's the last time there's been any major reforms. So but there's issues. The trust fund is going to run out in either 2031 or 2034. It depends what happens during this next administration. And there's issues that need to be addressed, and they haven't been addressed. So that's the long-term strategy, is just to kick the can down the road and don't address the issues. And also to instill doubt in the system, kind of tear it down from the inside. How do you do that? You do all these internet myths and all these things people repeat about this. The trust fund was stolen. I've done videos on that's not true. The trust fund is still there. It's $2.7 trillion this year. It was 2.8, around 2.8 last year. What happened to that money? It went into your paycheck. $70 billion last year was taken out of the trust fund and put it in your check. 5 or 6% of your check last year came from the trust fund. Probably 6 or 7% will come from the trust fund this year. So, and then there's all kinds of more ways they instill doubt in the system. Again, it was stolen. It was given to people that are not entitled to it, illegals or foreign countries. These are all distractions. They're 100% distractions. If you look at the details, a lot of these politicians, they say, hey, look over here, and don't focus on the issue that really needs to be addressed. And then, so they instill doubt in it. They don't do anything. It's, kind of the old politicians thing where, we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. And then they top that off by instilling doubt, and then they ignore the options. And I put the chief actuary, the Social Security chief actuary, there's a PDF I put in the description. It gives you all of the proposals to fix it. So I talked about this in another video a few days ago, where you could get your high school students that grade school, elementary, whatever, and they could look through that report and solve Social Security's long-term solvency in about 10 minutes. So it takes about a 10-minute fix to fix Social Security. It's just that the politicians have to actually do something, but they're not. They're ignoring they're ignoring those options, and then they just wait. They wait for the crisis to happen, or they kind of push it along a little bit, wait for it gets close to the cliff, and then they just push it over. And this is kind of the tipping point right now. Is this next 4 or 5 years, regardless who became president, this is the time. If the issues aren't solved within the next 4 or 5 years, then that's it. Then we're going to get the cuts anywhere from, let me put the cuts up there that we're proposing. Not we're proposing, but that's going to take place automatically. So these are basically, you have to choose what type of cuts you want. Do you want right now, if nothing has changed right now, as of today, again, the analysis is in the description below. We're looking at 2034, a 21% cut across the board of everybody's Social Security check. And people say, well, I'll be grandfathered in. You don't know that because it's never happened before. Social Security has always paid every check. No check has bounced since 1935. In 2034, you're going to get a 21% cut if we don't do anything. If the next administration gets some of the things they're talking about, no taxing on this, no taxing on that, the tariffs that will increase the COLAs, and all that, we're looking at a few years earlier and deeper cuts, 33% cuts. Or you can get your grade school students to find a solution in the actuary report I put in the description, and there'll be 0 cuts. So these are what's going to happen. One of those options is going to happen in the next few years. So that's the crisis that they've kind of waited around for and are anticipating. So they wait for the crisis, they help create it and to some extent, and then they request Wall Street to come in knight in shining armor to come in and fix everything. So this is, I don't know. The jury is still out. Hopefully, the next commissioner of Social Security, there's a lot of things. If he wants help making Social Security more efficient, tell him to give me a call. I know, where all the, I know where some of the bodies are buried. I know where they can save a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars. Give me a call, and we can definitely talk it out. And because I'm no longer part of the agency, and I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, I'll tell you straight up, I won't sugarcoat anything. But so if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to make it more efficient so people get their benefits and they continue to get their benefits for decades in the future, then I am 100% all for this new commissioner of Social Security. But if he decides to turn to that other Wall Street part and fulfill this long-term strategy of privatizing Social Security, then me and him are going to have some issues. And I think most of the people out there, as we saw, Medicare has been privatized under the Medicare Advantage plans. And we just saw the tragic event that happened yesterday with the CEO of United Healthcare, and the social media reaction to that tragic event. You all know what the reaction is, yeah, nobody thinks it's tragic. And a lot of people don't think it's tragic. Um, and that's because of how United Healthcare and these other companies have been treating people in prior authorizations, denying, and all the rest of it. And so that's privatized Medicare. So if we decide to privatize retirement benefits and privatize disability benefits, we already have an idea of what privatization looks like in terms of Medicare. Now, some people out there says yes, privatize it 100%. Let's do it. Okay, well, we shall see. So that's what we have in the future. I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on the nomination process and see what type of promises he gives and what he talks about, whether just going to go ahead and strengthen it and make it more efficient, or if it's the next step. Usually it's kind of an incremental step when they try to privatize it. They say, well, we're not going to privatize it for people right now that are receiving benefits, but in the future, if you want to set up a private account, it's just little steps. It's first, it's voluntary. Instead of giving your 6.2% to Social Security, we'll give 0.2% to Social Security and then 6% to you, so you can invest it personally. And I can tell you from taking hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, when people used to come in and say, well, if I would have got that 6%, I would have just invested. I would have made a lot more money than I receive on Social Security. And my response usually was, well, it's a good thing you were so good at investing, because you just have this little bit of Social Security, a couple $1,000s, but I'm sure you also have a few $1,000,000 stocked away in your stocks, because you sound like you're an excellent stock investor. And they always say, well, no, I don't have anything else. Okay, wait a second. You're a genius in Wall Street, but anyway, so there's a lot of, and you can ask a lot of investment people whether, they are good in investing. Social Security does, if you live a long time, if you're healthy, then you're going to get way, way, way more back than what you paid into it. So, all right, so let's go ahead and jump into any and all questions right now. And this is also Medicare season. It ends in a few days. So if you need Medicare help, if you're watching this video later, if you're looking for a Medicare plan, make sure you reach out to my partners at Chapter. We've got a few more days till the 7th, but if you're turning 65 or just getting off your health insurance for work, make sure you reach out to Chapter. I look throughout the country for a place that would help you out with all things Medicare. And they are the people that are doing it for us, and they're doing an awesome job. Okay, let's see here. I am so confused whether or not to tap into my Social Security benefits now. Turning 67 in February, met FRA, the full retirement age, at 66 and 8 months. New administration worrying me. Single, never married. Yeah, that's a common thing I'm getting right now is, when you're talking about when to start your benefits, whether it's 62, 65, 70, or whatever the case may be, then, there's a lot of questions whether you're working whether you need the money, are other people, your spouses or kids waiting for benefits to start. If you start your benefits, are you healthy? Or how's the genes in the family, longevity in your family? All those questions you need to ask. But now, yeah, because the cuts are going to happen if we don't do anything. Some people are just saying, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and get while the getting's good." I wish I had a crystal ball that could tell you. I'm always. You can ask my wife. I am super optimistic, annoyingly optimistic. But in this case, yeah. Hopefully, we do something. So glad to see you're doing your thing. Thank you for your commitment. You're welcome. This is excellent. Ah, thank you. Appreciate it. I suspect the plan is to implement AI and reduce Social Security employees. This guy is a computer business guy. Just my thoughts. Yeah, AI. The thing about it's it's not necessarily the processing of the applications. To take a retirement application, if you came in and again, I've done this hundreds of thousands of times. You come in for a retirement claim. If everything's good, if your earnings records are good, and everything is good, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to do a retirement application. The problem is we've got more people turning 65 this year, and more people turning 65 next year than any time in U.S. history. It's got the silver tsunami, as they call it, and there's just the staffing at Social Security is a 50-year low, and in terms of disability, unfortunately, it takes a long time to get medical records and all the rest of it. But yeah, the Social Security already uses AI, and particularly for disability. I've had many cases where people come in and then they have terrible terminal cancer, or really bad, have an accident or something like that. I take their disability claim, and the disability claim is approved before I go home that day, or I come back into work the next day, and it's already approved. So they have this kind of compassionate allowance algorithm that they already use. But yeah, if he puts on that hat and he makes the system more efficient, then 100%, I'll be a big fan. Another billionaire. Yeah, he was, and that's kind of, yeah, that's I guess the cynical side of me, and perhaps Seven Dogs, is he is one of the highest paid CEOs in America, and he is giving that up to get you know, basically, for him, a McDonald's type of, sorry, McDonald's employees, but kind of a McJob, I guess, for him. Very, very low pay. What's in it? Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that. So I still work and have insurance. I signed up for Medicaid at 65. You mean Medicare? If I become ill, can I use Medicaid for hospitalization? Okay, so I'm assuming you mean Medicare. Medicaid is the welfare-based program that's administered by the states for low-income, low-resource people. You mean Medicare, I'm sure. Yes, if you have health insurance from work, yours or your spouse's, um, and your employer or group plan has 20 or more employees, you do not have to sign up for, Medicare, Part A, Part B. If you're currently receiving money, you have to sign up for Part A. You automatically get Part A when you turn 65. But that's, zero premium. For Part B, next year is $185. So if you have health insurance for work and you're paying that and you're happy with it, then you don't have to sign up for Part B. Your question about Part A while you're working, here's why some people sign up for Part A, the benefit of having Part A when you're working. So if you have health insurance from work, and if you go into the hospital next year and your health insurance from work has, like, say, a $3,000 deductible for hospital, or Medicare next year is the deductible is $1,676, less than 3,000. And so if you have Part A, then you're only going to pay $1,676 out of pocket, because the deductible for Part A is better than your health insurance. So that's why some people get Part A while they're still working. But caution, if you're giving to an HSA, a health savings account, you cannot contribute to a health savings account 6 months prior to signing up for Part A. So you have to stop contributing to that HSA 6 months prior. Would worry about Dr. Oz loves Advantage plans. Yes, he does. He loves Medicare Advantage plans, and his idea is Medicare Advantage for all, making Medicare Advantage a universal program, and that's again privatization of Medicare with prior authorizations and the networks and the diminishing networks. Um, but again, the devil's in the details on all this. If they make Medicare Advantage for all, kind of the American version of universal health care, okay, but those two issues have to be addressed. What about the prior authorizations, these denials and delays and all that? And then what about the networks? There's so many hospitals and doctors that just refuse to take Medicare Advantage. So those two issues need to be addressed. And the cost factor. These companies make, billions of dollars on healthcare. So yes, please hit the thumbs up button. 3 or 40, but only 47 thumbs. Yes, this channel and everything. Please share, subscribe, like, and stuff like that. And that way, this goes out to more people. And then there's a lot of people out there that are not getting the benefits they're entitled to. And so that's what we do here. If a person is working and receiving a 1099, will that information be given to SSI? Um, okay, I'm assuming you don't mean SSI, the welfare-based program, because if you're working, you might lose your SSI. Depends on how much you work, but I am assuming you mean Social Security. No. Um, well, because it's a 1099, you have to file your taxes, and you have to you take that 1099, you file your taxes, you pay your FICA. Because it's a 1099, nobody's going to pay the other part for you. So in terms of FICA is two parts. FICA includes the Social Security and the Medicare. So if you're working, get a W-2 wage, you pay 6.2% for Social Security, 1.45% for Medicare, and then your employer pays the other part. If you're self-employed, you pay all that yourself. So once you file your taxes, pay all your taxes, the regular income taxes, pay your FICA, and then however much money that is notified to Social Security. Yes, Social Security gets that from the IRS. Yep. My son is 21 in Florida and is getting the runaround with trying to get disability. He is still in the school system, learning about hopefully getting a job in the hospital. All right. So possibly he was receiving Social Security benefits as a child under the age of 18 up until he graduated high school. And then you did what's called a disabled adult child claim to file on yours or your other spouse's benefits. Um, so has he already filed? I've done a few videos on kind of the disability process, the initial medical records, the appeals process, tips, tricks, and secrets. So make sure you watch those videos. I did 3 videos on all of that. So yeah, give me an idea what kind of runaround he's getting. Did he actually file or he hasn't filed at all? So yeah. Fresh eyes on Social Security is not a bad thing, maybe. I agree. 100%. 100%. I agree. So, but hopefully he pulls out the organizational efficiency part of his personality rather than, you know, what are quarterly profits going to look like, because there are no quarterly profits in Social Security. So, I'm a retired federal worker that gets a pension and SSDI. I have health insurance from my job and Medicare. Do I need to get Part D of Medicare or any of those Advantage plans? So you're a retired federal worker, so you probably have FEHB, the Federal Employee Health Benefits. If you do, then that should be good. So, but if you don't, then you just might have to. Well, too many politicians have stolen our money. Again, that's one of the distractions, the politicians, and we keep falling for it. We need to be smarter than their politicians. No, the money has not been stolen for Social Security. The money is still there, 100%, as we say in the Marine Corps, all present and or accounted for. Ugh, he is a Jamie Dimon guy. Not the best option. Yeah, Jamie Dimon is the guy head of what J.P. Morgan Chase. I would have been happier to see them sweep the good IRSers be swept into the SSA. Kind of makes sense to do that, and then dump Cash Patel. Yeah, hopefully that part of his personality, yeah, don't come out. Distractions, but are they true? No, the money hasn't been stolen. People that are not in this country legally cannot get retirement or disability benefits. Money is not being given to Ukraine. What are some of the other myths out there? But yeah, so still being told that if my wife made less than me, I can only collect Social Security on my earnings. Currently, that is correct. In order to get benefits, I assume your wife currently, and my wife passed away, and I was told I am not entitled to survivor benefits on her. Yes, her benefit would have to be higher than yours. Um, uh, because you're currently receiving benefits, you're receiving SSDI, so her benefits would have to be higher for them to be able to add survivor benefits on top of yours. So if her primary insurance amount, her benefit at her full retirement age is not higher than yours, then yes, they are correct. Unfortunately, there's no more money there. We were told to use a phone online service, then hung up on. Yeah, we're talking about SSA.gov or the SSA 800 number 772-1213. Yeah, that's a definitely a big issue. Again, understaffed by 50 years, so the worst in 50 years. Stop the cost of living. Yeah, if you look at the PDF that I put in the description, if they stopped that, it still wouldn't make 2 or 3% difference. The biggest difference, what would solve 73% of the issues going forward with Social Security would be to end the cap. There's a cap on how much you pay into Social Security for those. So for us, for 99.9% of you watching out there, and myself, we pay FICA tax on every penny we get. If you make over $168,600 this year, you don't pay Social Security FICA tax anymore. So if you make $1 million, you probably less than 1% of your money goes to Social Security FICA tax. But for the rest of us, 6.2 or more if we're self-employed. Yeah. Can we write to this guy, flood him with mail, emails, and encourage him to raise the cap? Well, all right. Liz and I are the exact same size. Yeah. Raise the cap and make it means tested. Seriously, folks, this guy needs to hear a lot from us. Yes. But again, as a commissioner, he doesn't necessarily make policy, but I guess, he's a, big donor to President-elect Trump. So I guess I'm not sure how much of an ear he has, but yeah, it doesn't hurt. Contact your political representatives. Contact him, the White House, and yeah, we definitely need the thing about the next president saying I'm not going to touch Social Security or Medicare. That's the worst thing you could do. It has to be touched. It has to be fixed, because if it not, then not this next 4 years, but the following presidential term. That's essentially when the cuts possibly going to start happening. Um, so unless we do something, so maybe the politicians will repay what they borrowed. Again, they didn't. They didn't. Yeah, it's being repaid. The Social Security Trust Fund, the $2.7 trillion is, yep, yeah, it's being paid back with interest, and it's coming up. So if I retire early and work, does the 22,320 working income allowed include the Social Security or not? And is my husband working spouse's income including in that number? Thanks. Good questions. So for next year, you can work and collect Social Security benefits, early retirement type. For 20, you can work up to $23,400. Anything over that, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. And no, that does not include your Social Security check. That just includes actual working. And it doesn't include, taking out of your savings or a 401k or IRA or anything like that. And it doesn't include your spouse's income. It's just for you, work, or net income from a business. If you have a business, net income from that. So if it goes over 23,400, then they'll hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Da, da, da. Want to know why I have no money in my disability retirement. Wall Street crashes and housing crisis. They got bailed out, but not the people. Yeah, I was taking claims. I was a claim specialist in, just after 2008, and that was tough. People came in and, they filed for the retirement benefits and they got, two or $3,000. And they said, well, this is unfortunately all I'm going to live on. I had a whole bunch of money, but it was wiped out into 2008. And it seems like we have a once in a lifetime crash every 10 years. Yeah. It used to be a once in a lifetime, but now it happens, yeah, it seems like more often than not. But, you know, the people at the top always make out very well. Want to know why? Okay. I already answered that one. I hope we all don't end up like that soccer team in the Andes. Yeah, I watched that movie. That was yes. They or is it the Donner's Pass in American history, right? Where we yes. What's the resource limit for SSI for an individual? $2,000. That's a pretty bad thing. It's been like that for decades. $2,000 for single and $3,000 if you're married. It hasn't gone up really it should go up. But one thing I would definitely check out, it's called an ABLE account, ABLE. Not sure if you're of that age, but you might be able to set up an ABLE account. Let's see. Do not privatize as Social Security. I am on widow's benefits. It scares me what they will do. It is the only thing I live on. Yes, 40 to 50% of people, they just live on Social Security alone. And I did a video on this about a week or so ago on living on Social Security alone, where I detailed about 50 different programs that might help make your life a bit easier. So make sure you watch that video. Um, yeah, and usually how they do it, just like they did in the 1980s when they raised the retirement age, is they don't do it usually for people that are in retirement or very very close to retirement. Um, they usually have us, sell out our children. It's like, okay, we're not going to touch you, we're not going to mess with you, but your children, they're going to have to wait another 2 years and get a cut and all the rest of it. So that's usually how it happens. Is they, it's, oh, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. But then your children call you up and say, hey, how come I got to wait 2 more years? How come I got a cut? How am I gonna? Yeah, so um, advantage plans don't work for everyone because they tell you about the perks, but not what it won't cover if you need surgery or get really sick. Yes, regular viewers to this channel know that I always, always, always recommend Medicare supplements first. Check out Plan N. That's my top because I'm cheap like that. Next would be a G, which is super, super close. It really depends on your particular situation. The G might be better in your particular situation, but check out N, then G, and then unfortunately, 51% of people choose Medicare Advantage plans predominantly because, as Evelyn points out, they look at the zero premium and they look at all the candy, and it, you know, they miss the important stuff. So I wish the entire system was completely different, but we have what we have, unfortunately, until we decide we want something else. I applied for independently entitled divorced spouse benefits and quoted you 5 times today. All right. All right. Awesome. So, yeah, that's one of the benefits that a lot of people miss is independently entitled divorced spouse. So, great. Awesome. So, hopefully, you'll get your money here. So, looks like y'all found some more money for Tube Amp 2. Again, subscribe, like, share, and all that kind of good stuff, because I can just sit here and talk for an hour every day, and it doesn't help anybody unless y'all like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And that way it teaches these algorithms that this is important information that sends out to people. All right. So this independently entitled divorced spouse, let me repeat it in case anybody else out there. There's a lot of people out there that are waiting to collect spouse benefits on their ex-spouse, and they're waiting because they think their ex-spouse has to start benefits, and that's incorrect. And Social Security employees are also unfortunately giving out that incorrect information. As long as your ex, you were married to that person for 10 years, their benefit is twice your benefit amount. But as long as your ex-spouse is 62 years old, at least 62 years old, then you can collect benefits on that person's record. You also have to be divorced from that person for 2 years. Final divorce has to be 2 years. So you don't have to wait until they file. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. So, yep, we got another one. Awesome. So, and another thing that a lot of divorced spouses miss is there's a lot of people out there that said, "Well, I want to get benefits on my ex spouse, but in the divorce decree, they said I couldn't get their Social Security." No relevance whatsoever. Nice try, divorce lawyer, but no relevance whatsoever. That doesn't matter. When Social Security requests your marriage and divorce decree to prove that 10-year marriage, the only thing they look at is the names and the date of the marriage on the divorce decree, the names and the date of the divorce. They don't look at anything else. They don't look at page 15 where you said, okay, I won't collect your Social Security. No relevance whatsoever. So that is your money. This is the FAFO era for healthcare executives and government officials. Wow, yeah, it's sad. People have families and stuff like that, but people, all the people that were denied and delayed, and yeah, it's how would privatizing affect SSI? So again, you probably mean Social Security SSA. Again, it would when you go get if we take Medicare Advantage as an example, if it turns into like Social Security Advantage, then you have to go to Wall Street to get your money, and then they say, oh, okay, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. Well, nah, we don't think you were really married to the person for that last year. So we only, 9 years, even though you're divorced, you were married technically over 10 years, but y'all didn't live together for the last year. So we're going to say your marriage was only 9 years. So, no. Disability. Yeah. You think, people have problems with disability now. Just look at the rates of denials for actual people that are sick going to the hospital and getting an emergency and getting an ambulance to go here and there and stuff. And those people are being denied and delayed. So could you imagine if Wall Street got a hold of making disability determinations? People in Florida with their flood insurance would definitely, yeah. Anyway, I'm on SSDI and can't afford to live in the US, so I'm considering living abroad. As a citizen, am I required to come back every 6 months? Will I be at risk for losing my benefits if I leave? Nope. If you're a citizen, you can live anywhere in the world except for North Korea and Cuba. So if you were looking to enjoy the beaches in North Korea, sorry. But nope, you're good. You just have to, you might get a CDR, continuing disability review, because you're on SSDI. If you're living overseas, you have to return this proof of life. It's like I'm still alive form once a year. They send it to your address overseas, and you just have to return it. You have to make sure you return it. If you don't, then they'll stop your benefits. Let's see here. I'm just jumping around. I've got a lot of questions, so I'll jump around a little bit. Dr. Oz is one person that concerns me with his love of Medicare Advantage type healthcare, and national healthcare doesn't seem to work in European countries. That is why they come here for treatment. No, we have people always call me out on this, but I think they misunderstand. We have one of I think the top two or three healthcare systems in the world in terms of actual healthcare treatment. That's why people from all over the world come to the United States when they, have heart issues or cancer issues or advanced, they need something, they come to the United States. We have one of the worst when it comes to accessing that healthcare. If you've got money, then yeah, we've got one of the best, I think, in the world. But if you don't have that money and you just have regular insurance, that's where our system really falls down. So yeah, there's a lot of countries around the world that have really great healthcare and access to that healthcare, and unfortunately, we are not there. Privatization of Medicare isn't that great for everyone. Uh, that's all you got to do is check out social media today and the reaction to the assassination. So, and you can, yeah. I don't think anyone should think in a way of the past because the train is going into uncharted waters. That is a fact. In my humble opinion, I think there is enough money. The system is a selfish and corrupt one. Yeah, if these companies can make hundreds of billions of dollars on healthcare and all the rest of it, and yeah, if everybody paid into FICA like 99% of us, then that would solve the issue. The issue is forever. We'd be solvent for decades and decades and decades, and that's the other one of the distractions, the tricks that politicians do is they make the perfect the enemy of the good. I think it was Voltaire that said that. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but they say, oh, okay, sure, we can raise the cap so everybody pays the FICA, but that's not going to solve 100% of the issue, and that's not going to give Ed his hair back. And so, if it's not a perfect solution, then we don't even want to talk about it. So you have to do the cap thing, and then because that gets 73%, and then you have to do another 10% here, another 5% here, 10% there, and then you get your 100%, and it's 100% solved for decades and decades and decades to come. But politicians like to say, well, I knew this, that's the old Marine Corps barracks lawyer. So I had a friend, sister, neighbor that had this cousin that had this issue, and therefore we shouldn't do anything. Yeah. So, um, yeah, there's an example, right? Dollars given to Ukraine would save Medicare. Um, but that was most of the money. All right, let me talk about that. Um, the money given to the Ukraine actually helps Social Security because number one, that money isn't given out of the Social Security Trust Fund. That's just given out of regular, the regular money, the regular revenue taxation. So there is no Social Security money that went to Ukraine. However, giving that money to Ukraine actually helps Social Security. How does that happen? Because how does that happen? Is because most of the money we give to Ukraine is actually military weapons that are just been sitting around, in warehouses. So we give them that money, give them that, stuff that's going to be sitting around there getting old and rusted. We give them that, and then the Pentagon pays those companies to replenish that stockpile. And those people go to work and make more money, and then they pay FICA taxes, and it pays into Social Security. So giving to Ukraine actually helps Social Security. So yeah, it's interesting. How soon should I apply for my ex-spouse benefits? I'm 59, disabled, and he is 62. Um, so it's okay, and he is 60. Okay, so this is still he is still out there alive and kicking. So that means this is not a survivor claim. So the soonest you can collect those benefits is at 62. So about a 2 or 3 months before you hit 62, your 62nd birthday, then you can collect benefits. Um, Thank you, Dr. Ed. You're the greatest man yet. Oh, awesome! Appreciate it. I'm gonna have to cut paste that and show that to my wife, and she won't believe it. But anyway, have a question on you. There is a process for benefit now. Hear me. I have a president to protect us. Oh, okay, I'm not sure what that means. Um, let's see. We need you to be our voice on Capitol Hill. I'm, yeah, if they want to reach out to me, absolutely, absolutely. Um, all I know is that both sides use the fear of losing Social Security benefits for their own political gain. Yes, 100%. Um, they use the fear, and this is on both sides, frankly, because politicians, they're subservient to, they have to run their elections every 2 years of their House of Representatives, and they're in this continuing election cycle that they need money. Um, so yeah, they use fear to kind of instill doubt into the system, and when you instill doubt in the system, people just forget about it. It's going bankrupt anyway, so just go ahead and take it out and back and shoot it in the head. So yeah, I have original Medicare and just got extra help for D. Do I have to enroll now, or can I wait for January to enroll in a Advantage plan? When you get extra help, you have different enrollment periods. So you already have original Medicare. In your particular, um, you can, I think, it depends when your extra help and all that kind of started. Um, but I possibly you can start in January, but I would reach out to your broker or someone, or you can reach Chapter and they can help you out. It's crazy busy right now because everybody's calling them, but hopefully they'll be able to help you out. But even if let's say you waited till January, um, you could enroll in, if that's your choice, a Medicare Advantage plan in January, but it won't start until February 1st. So for that entire month of January, what if something happens? You fall or get sick or somebody, runs into you or something like that. Then you're going to be without health coverage for a month. So I would definitely find something sooner rather than later. So I'm employed and reached full retirement age. Never got time in to get any benefits. She is several 3 years away from. Okay. Yeah, you're full retirement age, so you can turn on your Social Security benefits at your full retirement age or wait. They stop increasing based on delayed retirement at the month you turn 70 years old. Yep. How does someone on SSDI address ID theft? Yeah, I talked about that a couple 3 days ago. In terms of Social Security, the only really way it could affect your Social Security is if someone takes your Social Security number and starts working and pretends to be you and paying into your Social Security, which actually you don't want. It sounds good, but you don't want that. But in terms of all the other stuff, those are private. Check with your Experian and all those other private credit reporting agencies. My daughter just turned 18 in October. She is receiving survivor benefits from her mother's death. How long can she receive the survivor benefits? Until she is graduate high school, or 19 and 2 months is the max. So at 18, they probably stopped her benefits already. But if she's still in high school, then she has to take a couple of forms, one form, um, multiple pages. Um, Down to her school, and they will fill it out that she's still in high school, and her benefits will continue until she graduates high school, or 19 in a couple of months. Are there any other requirement? Oh, and if hopefully she's not disabled, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there. If she became disabled before the age of 22, then you have to switch that over into a disabled adult child. But hopefully she's not, and are there any other requirements to receive 50% on spouse record for divorced woman? 56-year-old, disabled, 29 years in marriage, not enough working credits, ex-husband alive, collecting Social Security retirement. So yeah, so you fulfilled the 10 years. I assume you're not currently remarried, and your benefits are less than half of his. And then when you turn 62 years old, then you can get those benefits. I retire age 65 in 2023. Will Social Security affect taxes on property taxes as I'm still paying mortgage? Will I be able to rent room? Will that affect my Social Security? Also have a pension, but still not enough. All right. So taxes, yeah, the Social Security doesn't do taxes on mortgage, no relevance whatsoever. Renting a room, that's not really income unless you have a business, and that's your business is to, buy properties and rent rooms and stuff. But that sounds like it's just you renting a room. So it's not considered income or net income from business or anything. So that won't affect your Social Security. And your pension, unless that pension comes from non-covered employment, if you receive that pension from a state or local government agency that did not participate in Social Security, that will affect your Social Security. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. So no, that won't affect your Social Security. I heard you say on a past show, if canceled from Advantage plan, you have 60 days from notification of cancellation or from service end date. Yeah, on the letter, I've heard people say different things. I guess it might be particular the company or whatever the case may be. Yes, if you received one of those cancellation letters, and up to 1.8 million people have been canceled from their Medicare Advantage Part D plans, not Medicare supplements. Medicare supplement, the N and G, you're still good. But the Medicare Advantage Part D, close to 2 million people have been canceled. And on the letter, it says that, okay, we're going to cancel you. It's going to end, December 31st, or we'll give you till January 31st, or whatever the case may be. But as part of that cancellation, you have a good opportunity um, to go to a Medicare supplement plan without medical underwriting, without health underwriting, because you've been canceled. So now you can go to a plan F or a plan G, depending on your date of birth, and you don't have to go through health underwriting. But in terms of the date, here's my personal opinion on this is even if the letter says January 31st, you don't have to find a new plan until January 31st because we'll keep this current plan in effect until January 31st. Um, I've seen you might just go to the doctor, January 15th, and they run it, and you get your treatment or whatever, and then they send you the bill, and you're like, no, I've still got it. Well, the people say, no, we looked in the system and it's canceled. Yeah, but it's not canceled for another 2 weeks. But no, it's in the system and it looks like it's canceled. Yeah, it is canceled, but so it might be a good idea just to go ahead and get you a new plan to start January 1st. That way you start fresh. But if you want to wait till the very last minute, then yeah, then you can do that too. And you can reach out to Chapter and they can help you out, or your agent or whoever. Let's see. How does someone on SSDI address? Okay, I already talked about that one. You are a gem. Thank you for helping out. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Let me jump around here. I'm working and retired, reached for retirement age. My wife never got enough work history to get benefits on her own. Will she be able to get any benefits on my account other than when I die? Yes, absolutely. Once you file for benefits, you get your benefits started. If she is 62 years old, at least 62 years old at that time, she just goes ahead and files for benefits on your record. They'll The Social Security employee will first to see if she's entitled on her own, and if she's not, no big deal. Then she just goes ahead and gets spouse benefits. And if she does that when she is for retirement age, then she gets exactly 50% of your benefit amount. Oh, they were Lynn. Awesome. That's what I like. We got an awesome community. Lynn tells Sandy, have you applied for the homestead exemption on your house? SSA doesn't affect property taxes. Yes, homestead extension. Perfect. Thank you, Lynn. You are too awesome. I like it. Looking out for everybody. Talk to Congress where those funds are being diverted to other federal programs. Immigrants have received benefits from Social Security or at least tried to claim that. Yeah, immigrants, if you're in the country legally, you can get Social Security benefits if you paid into Social Security, retirement, disability. If you actually paid into the system, yes. But if you're in the country illegally, you're not documented, then you cannot get retirement benefits and disability benefits because part of the application process, as I've said this many times, it's kind of like those, when you fill out some form online and it's got the little red asterisk there that there's a field that you have to fill out. If you don't fill out that field, then you cannot submit. Same thing with a Social Security computer system on steroids. If you don't fill out the U.S. citizenship or you put in the A number, that's confirmed through the SAVE verification, which is the connection to the INS, the Immigration Service, to confirm that that is a valid that person is in the country legally. If you don't put that information in, then you cannot get to the next screen. You cannot adjudicate the claim, and you cannot get the person benefit. So again, this is another distraction politicians are trying to do is to fight. Hey, look at the shiny object over here, while we, actually, wait for Social Security to cut your benefits because we didn't take action. So, all right. Is there a point where the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to start growing again after the baby boomer population starts to dwindle? Not no. That's the issue. Is the trust fund was built up? I actually have an image that I put together. The trust fund was built up again in the 1980s, and then in starting in 2010. That's when, so hopefully y'all can see this. I added the little yellow there. So that little yellow section there is when Social Security received more in taxes than they paid out. So, and all that money was put into a trust fund and it reached close to $3 trillion. And then 2010, baby boomers, those 76 million Americans that were born between 1946 and 1964 started to draw down those trust funds. And that's where the green is. The green is where it flipped. There's less coming in, more going out. So how do they cover that? They took out of the trust fund. So last year they took $70 billion out of the trust fund. The problem is that trust fund is going to become empty in 2031, 2034, whatever the case may be, depending on what happens on the next administration. And that's the issue. And why it doesn't the trust fund last longer? There's two things that they didn't, their crystal ball in the 1980s didn't take into consideration. One is that they thought we were going to have more kids. Or more people coming into the country in terms of immigration, legal immigration. So that's one thing, less people paying into FICA. And number two, the biggest thing is they didn't realize how much our wages would stagnate and how much the wages, the income of people that don't pay into Social Security, those making over 168,000, how much money would go to that. In 1980, in the 1980s, 90% of money out there was subject to the FICA tax. Now it's about 81%. So that 9% that is not being paid into FICA, by those people making over 168,000, that's what's killing it. So if we raise the cap, it would close that gap and we would be good again. But yeah, that's what would save 73% of the issue. So, all right. I don't trust Dr. Oz. I think he's a flip-flopper. Maybe under President Trump's watchful eye, he will do the right thing. I'm going to stay 100% neutral on this. Dr. Oz, Medicare Advantage for all. Okay, all right, that's a plan, but you have to address this, that, and the other. This new guy, again, I'm going to be watching all this. Can a disabled stepchild collect from their disabled step-parent? Child disabled at 15 became stepchild age 22. Yes, if you have to be providing half support. If you're providing half support, then that child can possibly receive benefits on your record. So definitely call Social Security, set up an appointment, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions about income and whether the child receives half support and all the rest of it. Yep, absolutely. Could you start a petition so we can sign and send it to our representatives? That's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, I might. Yeah. Yeah, that's a petition. All right, write that down. I'll forget that. Yeah, good. Thank you, Wanda. Appreciate that. Or if y'all want to put one together, if got any experts out there on doing that type of thing, then yeah. Can a Social Security disability recipient start a business and how much can be earned? Yes, but because you're on Social Security disability, yeah, you're limited to the amount you can make. And I did a couple of videos on that. Let me take this out. So check out these videos. Disability and working is for people on SSDI, and the bottom one is SSI, Supplemental Security Income. So yeah, definitely check out those videos. There's a bunch trial work period and extended period of eligibility and all kinds of different it's complicated, but absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. I have had SSI and SSDI for 36 years ago. Permanent disability. How does my tomorrow look like to me? Um, yeah, I wish I knew. I really, really wish I knew. But just keep on keeping on. And Barbara points out a good thing. She has SSI and SSDI. Here's where I need y'all's help. There's a lot of people out there that are missing benefits. They're getting the wrong benefits at the wrong time. They're filing for the wrong programs. They're missing benefits that they're entitled to, that they're eligible for. Um, like like Barbara, she's receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. And you're like, how can she receive SSI and SSI and SSDI at the same time? Well, if someone's SSDI benefit is low, under this year's under $943, they can supplement that with SSI, Supplemental Security Income. So if you get like $500 of SSDI and you don't have any other income or resources, then you can get SSI and they can add another $443 for a total of $943. And because she gets SSDI, she can also get Medicare after being on SSDI for 2 years. And because she gets SSI, she can go down to the state and get Medicaid. And she's categorically eligible for SSI or Medicaid from the state because she has SSI. And then because she has SSI and SSDI and Medicare and Medicaid, she's dual eligible Medicare and Medicaid. If she's at the higher levels of Medicaid, she can also get what's called a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And those, if you have Medicaid and Medicare, then you can't get a Medicare supplement anyway. So Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And those are the ones you see advertised. You probably saw an ad while I'm sitting here talking uh, that talk about these grocery cards or something, over the counter cards, $2,000, $10,000 free ponies or whatever. They do exist. It depends on your particular area. The people that have Medicare and Medicaid, those dual eligible, those are usually the best ones. They have the most money depending on your particular area. Um, but those cards do exist, but they're advertised really, really bad. I mean, kind of scammy in my estimation, um, because they take the best one in the country that's only available in that part of the country, and they advertise it to the entire country. And then people from other parts of the country call that number and say, "Hey, I want that, I want that free pony." And they say, "Oh, it's not available in your area." And then they do the hard sell, and they got your information. And yeah, it's yeah. Um, what are the chances that the Republicans push for investing a portion of the trust fund into stocks? Yeah, some countries do that. I think Australia and Canada does that to some extent. But again, the devil's in the details. If you get a good kind of return on your investment, but then the people that are making those investment take all the because in my office, if they privatize Social Security, I always said, my office, third business in the country, had close to 100 employees. We had billions of dollars. I think I calculated one time about $3 billion coming in and out of my particular office. So if a CEO was controlling a company that had $3 billion, that guy was making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And let's say I was not receiving millions and millions and millions of dollars as a civil servant. So if we privatize that office, the person in charge of that office would receive millions of dollars, and you're like, wow, this office is a lot more efficient. Yeah, but all the efficiency is, the money for the saved on the efficiency is going to, the CEOs and all the rest of it. Um, so it's always, and let me see the details. My husband retired at 65 along with a pension. I have become disabled and applied this year has reduced his Social Security check by $300. Is that normal? Okay, let's see. My husband retired at 65 along with a pension. Okay, I assume that's just a regular old pension, not a government pension that didn't pay into Social Security. You became disabled, and you applied this year, and you're reduced from reduced benefits. I guess you're under your full retirement age. His Social Security check reduced his Social Security check by $300. Yeah, you filing should not have reduced his benefits at all. Yeah, that doesn't make sense unless he was receiving SSI, the welfare-based program, and you getting more money into the household reduced his SSI check. That's a possibility. Other than that, no. Um, I am on disability this year in Virginia. Do I have to get Medicaid or can I get regular insurance? Um, if you're getting SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, and you've been on that for 2 years, then your Medicare will automatically start. If you have other health insurance from current work, yours or your spouse's, then you don't have to get Medicare. But in but Medicaid, yeah, that's a welfare-based program. If you don't want Medicaid, yeah, you don't have to get Medicaid. Um, the best way to understand where these Social Security funds are hiding, opening up the accounts receivable and accounts payable books. This will answer the question. Yeah, that's our. You want to see them? Got them right here. Uh, I can show you that in no time. Again, this is another politicians playing fast and loose. Instilling distrust in the system so they can do whatever they want. And so we need to come out. We need to be smarter than these guys. Here it is right here. Here's the accounts payable and accounts receivable. There it is. Oh, let me take off this thing here. Don't. All right. So if this is for 2023, payroll taxes got $1 trillion and some change coming in. Taxes on Social Security benefits. So when President-elect Trump says he is going to end taxes on Social Security benefits, okay, fine, that's fine. I'm good with that. But that's $49 billion hole that needs to be filled. And if that $49 billion hole is not filled, then the trust fund is going to be depleted quicker and you're going to get more cuts. And we got $63 billion in earnings on interest because we loan that money to the treasury and they pay interest on the money that they loan us. So, yep, there it is right there. And then you can see on the right side there where it says net change in reserves, $70 billion, because less was coming in than going out. And so we needed we had a gap there. So we took out $70 billion from the trust fund. So there it is right there. Easy, easy, easy. But politicians, they're good at misdirection and we keep falling for it. So let's be smarter than them. Doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to be smart politician. So there's that. All right. Again, it has been paid back. I just showed you the receipts. Leo, I have been receiving only $902 from our Social Security. I just asked, what was I doing since 15 years old, working, giving into Social Security? Yeah, they determine your benefit amount by your high 35 years of earnings, and then they take it and they average index monthly earnings. So they average those earnings, and then they give you a percentage back based on how much you actually paid into Social Security. Yeah. No closed captions. Yeah, I don't think YouTube does closed captioning on live, but when it plays back in the recording, closed captioning should be there. I don't think I have control over that. I noticed one or two of my videos didn't have closed caption, so I'm not sure why, but all the other ones I checked, I've got close to 900 videos. They all had closed caption. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So if anybody knows, then yeah, please reach out. Let me see here. So should they raise the max Social Security benefit if they raise the cap? If they do, then that's going to defeat some of the purpose. The 73% solution is to just raise the cap, and because you also get your benefit based on a bend point. I don't know if I get it. I've done another video on that. I don't want to get into the details, but people that pay into it more get less, about 32%. People that earn less throughout their life get a 90% replacement rate. So it's already a progressive structure, and we just add another bend point. Very, very easy to fix that. So what I do is move to areas with lower cost of living. That requires a fair amount of moving, but has worked for me. Awesome. Good deal. Let's see. Palm's recent changes dated 11/25 are saying 6K, 10K couples. Oh, did they finally raise? Are we talking the SSI resource limit? Wow, they've been talking about that forever. Did they finally pull the trigger? Okay, let me 25, 24 for resource limit. Okay. Let's see if that actually goes into effect. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. I watched your video. Yeah, over 20,000 pages of Social Security policy. It's crazy. And they change it, on a daily basis. I watched your video on assistance beyond Social Security, took your advice, went to my local office of aging, and they hooked me up with everything my state has to offer. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. I think that was suggestion number 50, the very last one I did in that video. So I've got, 49 others. So awesome. Good deal. Good deal. I like it. And again, it wasn't me. I just gave out the information. It's all those other people that press like and subscribe. That's how you got the video to see the video, that it came up on your feed, is other people did their part. So, what are the prices of all these plans? We talk about Medicare plans or whatever solutions to solve Social Security issues. Yeah, I'm not sure which one. I have been hospitalized 4 times for strokes. I've applied for SSDI. I'm 61. How long does it take to be approved? And that's the unfortunate part. Anywhere from 6 to 9 months if you're lucky to get an initial decision. It's taking way, way, way too long. When I used to take disability claims, everybody at that time says, hey, 3 to 6 months, you'll get your decision. Now it's 6 to 9 months if you're lucky. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish it was a lot quicker. Is it true Massachusetts doesn't have N or G plans? What is available? Yeah, they have Massachusetts is yeah, Massachusetts, the Commonwealth. Yeah, they don't have N and G plans like the rest of the country. They have like kind of look-alike plans. I think is like a 1A, and then you can add like a rider or something to make it look like a G plan. So, yeah, Massachusetts is kind of strange like that. They're yeah unusual. So, but yeah, you can reach out to your broker or reach out to Medicare chapter, and they can help you out and. They'll have someone that deals with those particular plans and be able to help you out. So, all right, we are over our time. Unfortunately, got a lot of questions I wasn't able to get to there. A good review. I called chapter and MG answer my questions competently, patiently, and quickly. Good pick. Oh, awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Let's see if. Okay. Let me just pick one at random here. Means testing has been floated as a solution to Social Security shortfall. How do you think means testing will look if implemented? Yeah. So what Reba's talking about is, yeah, that was part of the Republican Study Committee report that they want to means test spouse benefits. So if you're a spouse and you're getting a whole bunch of money from a 401k or IRA, I'm not sure exactly, again, it's in the details. Then you don't get spouse benefits because you already got enough retirement and stuff. So that's what they're looking at. But if you look at the actuary report, it'll tell you, it's I forget what it was. It depends how it's implemented and how long it takes, but yeah, it'll help the trust fund a little bit, but not as much as you think. So, but you can check out the actual details in the report down there. All righty, that's it for today. I appreciate